Hi, it's Jessica with Pilates Happy Hour. I am so happy to have you here today for our Pilates for Beginners class. So remember, if you need any more tips and tricks or videos, please visit us at pilateshappyhour.com. So I love teaching beginners, so I'm so happy to have you here. One of the reasons is I just absolutely, obviously adore Pilates, but I love it for a lot of reasons. And the number one thing is I just feel it makes people better at everything else they do. It is the best tool that I have as a fitness instructor and as a physical therapist, and getting people to really understand and feel their own bodies. And once you feel that, how to move and the right way to move, then everything else becomes so much better and so much more effective. You're just going to become so much more focused in your other workouts, and you're going to really see what it's supposed to feel like, and then your body responds and you're going to hit your goals so much faster. So that's really why I love Pilates. So the reason we like to do Pilates for beginners is a few reasons. You might be here because you've absolutely never done Pilates before, and that's great. You might be here because you have done Pilates in the past, but you have maybe had an injury or possibly had a baby, so you're just getting back into it. And then another group of people that really benefit from Pilates for beginners are people like me, actually people who have been teaching it for 15 years, and we kind of become so habitual at it and we just don't think about it that we lose track of the foundation. So anybody who's here, that's great, and hopefully you'll get something out of it. And another reason we just like to do Pilates for beginners is to teach you the basic rules. That's what I want you to know. That's not like you have to go in and do it exactly right by any means, but if you imagine going and playing basketball for the first time, and you're like, hey, I don't need to know the rules, it's totally good. And then you shoot a basket into the other team's basket, you might lose. You might play fine and get a good workout, but you didn't win. And I feel like Pilates is a little that way. If you don't get the basics first, you're just not gonna get the best workout you possibly could. So I just wanna teach you some of the basic principles, some of the ways to move, so again, you get the most out of it, all right? So I'll just talk to you as we go along. I want you to get a workout, and then I want you to kind of learn about Pilates as we go. So we're gonna start on your backs. All you need today is a mat, that's it. A mat and some space to move. So start on your back for me, and I just wanna talk about your spine position really quick, okay? So stay with me here. This is called neutral spine when you're on your back. And what it means basically is that your spine is in the best position and it maintains its four normal curves, okay? So you will have that standing, you'll have it sitting, but the easiest way to feel it is on your back. So basically, I just want you to feel equal pressure behind your head, between your shoulder blades, and down at your tailbone. And you're gonna notice now a little space in your neck, right? That one's obvious. And then a little space in your low back. All right, some people have a really big space, some people have a really small space. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you notice what your neutral spine is, okay? So just notice if you have a really big normal space or if it's small. And we're gonna come back to that quite a bit, but this is the best place for your spine to be. So one of the main things we do in Pilates is we try to teach you about that really good spine position, and then we try to maintain it. Another thing you'll hear us talk about is breathing. So what I want you to do is just put your hands on your ribs, take an inhale, and then just take an exhale, just normal. Okay, now inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. That's just the first thing I want you to get used to doing, is inhaling through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Now, when you inhale, I want your ribs to move side to side into your hands, all right? So try that. Take an inhale and see if you can get your ribs to move side to side. Try not to let your chest lift. Try not to let your belly lift, all right? So just try to inhale into your ribs, expand your ribs side to side, left to right. Then exhale and funnel your low abs down and try to get all the air out. So that'll come with time. But again, in any Pilates video you see or class you go to, you're gonna be instructed in how to breathe, and that's the way you wanna breathe. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And it's important for a few reasons. One, for control. If you have control over your breath, you'll have control over your movement. It also is important for speed, because again, you can control your speed through your breath. It's important for general health. You never want to hold your breath, okay? That causes what we call a Valsalva maneuver in the body. It increases your inner abdominal pressure, and it can be really bad for your internal organs to actually hold your breath and try to do exercise, so never hold your breath. And then finally, it actually helps to detox your body. Joseph Pilates called it the internal shower. He actually wanted your breath to help detox, so we use it in that way too. So one other thing I want you to focus on here, then I promise I'll get you moving, is your lower abdominals. So find your belly button, right? And then go 1 inch below that, okay? Now go out to your hip bones, and right inside that area, your lower abdominals sit. They're like a belt, okay? So they run basically from belly button to pubic bone all the way around your waist into your lower back. And I just want you to feel those contracting. So what you're gonna do is pull your belly button in towards your spine, but I don't want your back to flatten when you do it. So go back to that neutral spine that we talked about, right? So don't let yourself flatten your spine, and don't squeeze your butt when you do it. So what you're doing is just gently, this is like 50% effort, so not as hard as you can. Okay, just 50% effort. Gently pull your belly button into your spine. It's almost like you have on jeans and you're trying to pull your belly button away from your jeans. Okay? So just do a few of those for me. If you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, that's completely fine. It's okay if you can't feel that yet. Maybe try doing a Kegel at the same time, that idea of stopping the flow of urine. That actually is a very similar contraction. But I just want you to understand that you have some lower abdominal muscles. I promise, no matter who you are, you have them. They might not be firing or kicking in yet, but they're there. Okay, so they're there, and we want you to learn how to kind of find them and contract them, because that is one of the main ways that you stay safe in your spine when you move. Your lower abdominal muscles are a stabilizer, so that's what we want to use them for. And then we can go into rectus abdominis, obliques, and get all that great six-pack that people want, but we want to know how to just contract and use those lower abs for control. So I'm done talking here for a minute. We're just going to start to move. So what we're going to do is pull the belly button in towards your spine again. So I want you to brace here. And now, keeping this braced, you're going to lift your right leg up. We call this tabletop. It's a 90-90 position. So just hold it there, bring it back down onto the ground, then do the other leg. This is going to seem really simple at first, but what I want you to really focus on is keeping this braced. Keep the low belly pulled in. Don't let your back flatten when the leg lifts, and don't let your back arch. We're just going to do one more on each side. This is just starting to teach your body what it feels like to maintain this neutral spine. Okay? So if this is enough for you, stay there. It might be. That's a lot of low ab work, believe it or not. So if you're ready, go ahead and lift one leg. Now, brace again. Pull your low belly in and lift the other leg up. And we're just going to hold this. This is, again, called tabletop. This is a full tabletop position. It takes a lot of lower abdominal control. You want the knees right over the hips. You want the feet in line with the knees. I don't want you here. Okay, this isn't tabletop. It's a great stretch. If you need it, you can rest and do it, but it's not tabletop. This is tabletop. So just try to check yourself. Again, belly button pulling into spine. And then let's go ahead and lower one leg down. And go ahead and lower the other leg down. All right, so we're going to keep those same principles in mind, and right leg is going to come up to tabletop, and now straighten the right leg out, and we're going to draw some circles here. Just small little circles, about the size of a dinner plate. Now, you're trying not to let the left knee move, and try not to let your spine move, your hips move. Nothing moves, actually. So it's, again, the idea of keeping neutral spine and belly button pulled in. We call this disassociation, which means teaching the body to move one part without anything else moving. Now just switch directions. So the great thing about this is you're getting leg work too. So your thigh is working, your quad, your hips are working, but it's so much more effective than if I let the rest of your body just flop around, right? If you're doing this, you're not going to feel your leg. But if you're doing this and bracing and everything and breathing, then you're going to feel your leg. That's what I meant when I said Pilates just makes your workout more effective, is it teaches you how to move. Good. And then when you feel about even, bring that foot down. We'll do the other side. Again, belly button to spine. Try not to squeeze your buns. Straighten the other leg out. Really tighten your quad, point your toes, and little circles. So if you're new to Pilates, but you're an athlete, okay, so if you're an athlete or if you've worked out a lot in your life, then right now you're thinking, Jessica, I think I'm going to turn this video off. This is so boring. I can't even believe it. I'm so strong. I don't need to do this. Just please stay with me. Please, I promise it's going to help. I know you could probably do 1,000 of these, but maybe you've never done them with that lower ab focus. And then I promise we're going to progress here. But just don't leave me. Stay with me. And then same, if you've never done anything and you're thinking, this is kind of hard and weird, again, stay with me. I promise we get to the fun stuff, but this is going to make your workout so much more effective. Are you tired of me saying that word yet? It's true. It just makes it so much better. All right, good. I think we did both directions. I got too busy talking. And then place that foot down. Okay, so we're going to go into something called bridging. Arms down at your sides. Take an inhale for me. Now you're going to exhale and curl your tailbone. That's all you're going to do. Just curl. So what we've done is we're not neutral anymore, right? We flattened your low back. We curled your pelvis. Then bring it back down. We're going to do about 4 like that. So exhale. Just curl your tailbone. So this is a pelvic tilt. This, again, is moving on from that neutral spine. So we started with some abdominal work, some disassociation. Now I want to start to teach your spine how to move. It's one of my favorite parts about Pilates is it really gets the stuck places moving. It like creates this space in your body, but you have to have that understanding of abdominal work and spine position first. Okay, so now on this one, take an inhale. Exhale, curl your tailbone and roll all the way up into a bridge. You're going to come onto your shoulder blades. Make sure you're not on your neck, just your shoulders. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll down. Start from the top. So you curl here, 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 here. Last thing to go is your tailbone. Inhale at the bottom, pause. Exhale, curl your tailbone. Roll yourself up. We're going to do a few of these. And as you go, I want you to focus on a few things. One is, yes, you're going slow because you're trying to move one vertebrae at a time. This isn't just a lift and lower like you were doing glute work. Okay, this is actually rolling through your spine. The other thing is try to keep your hips level. That's a main one. I don't want one hip to lower or lift more than the other. If it does, that's going to show you that you actually have a hip abductor weakness. So if your right hip is dropping, push into the opposite heel to lift it up. So we're just going to do one more like that. Roll up. Now stay here at the top. Keep the bridge. Inhale, your arms come up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring them down. So just a little bit of glute work, a little bit of hamstrings. Last 2. Relax your toes. Last 1. Are you breathing? Hopefully. Bring your arms down. Inhale, pause. Exhale, roll back down. All right, we're going to bring hands behind your head. Bring your thumbs to the base of your skull and your elbows wide. Inhale for me. Exhale, tuck your chin slightly and roll up into a crunch. Inhale, pause, and exhale, roll back down. So you're suddenly thinking, oh gosh, here we go, crunches. So I'll talk you through what the basics are for me, all right? As an instructor, as a physical therapist, this is what I want to see people do. I want elbows wide. If they're here, you're just pulling on your neck, all right? So you want them wide, just in your peripheral vision. You want your hands gently resting on the back of your head, so again, you're not pulling your neck. It's just gentle support. Another big, big one, when you roll up, don't lift your tail. All right, it actually makes it easier. I want your tail to stay down, which is going to be more effective for your rectus abdominis right now. So your tail stays down and your low back will flatten when you roll up. Just don't squeeze your buns and don't lift your tail. Finally, I don't like the idea of holding an orange behind your or under your chin. And it's because this is what happens. And you can see how much tension there is in my neck. I'm just trying to keep my head from falling back. You want to tuck your chin, hold a walnut instead, roll up, and just look at your knees. That's a good guideline. Look at your knees when you roll up. All right, give me one more. Exhale up. Now, stay here. Inhale, rotate, but keep your hips down. Exhale, center, you're still in a crunch. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center, still in a crunch. Inhale, down. Okay, same thing. You exhale up. Don't let your knees move when you twist. This is just obliques. And twist. And center and down. We're going to do 2 more rounds. And I want you to go to the left first, okay? Over, center. So what I get the most from crunches is people tell me it hurts their neck. And honestly, usually, unless you have an anatomical injury, something like that to your neck, which will happen, most of the time though, and then come down and just take a rest, it's actually because you're getting neck fatigue because you're not lifting up high enough. I'll show you what I mean. Pilates has a lot of crunches and a lot of things where we hold our neck up for periods of time. And if you're only coming to here, it's going to hurt your neck because it's a neck sit-up. I mean, it's killing my neck right now because all I'm doing is lifting my head up versus tucking my chin and lifting my shoulder blades off. Now my neck is much more free to move, but the work is here. So if you find you're getting neck fatigue, it's probably because your abs are actually tired, so you're not coming up high enough. So either just try to make yourself come up a little higher, or just take a rest, sit out a couple reps, and then come back in when your abs are ready and you can lift up higher. And over time, you'll get much stronger. But don't say to yourself, oh, my neck's just weak. I can't do that my next week. That's not the case. Again, unless you have an injury, which I have some patients who do, unless you have an injury to your neck, it is most of the time ab strength. So that's another one. Just stay with me and it will get better, okay? All right, so we're gonna go into a roll-up. This is kind of into beginner 2 a little bit. So if this doesn't work for you, just roll to your side and sit up. Otherwise, arms come behind your head. Arms lift up. Now tuck your chin and you're gonna try to roll off one vertebrae at a time. Again, if that's not happening, just sit up. It's okay. We're gonna get to this in beginner 2. So over and then restack. All right, nice job. So let's stay here. And you're gonna take your feet mat width apart, okay? You wanna move everything out of the way back there because I want you tall on your sit bones. So don't be afraid to get things out of the way. You gotta get comfortable with your body here. Legs are straight. If you have any injuries, you can bend your knees. The most important thing is that your back is flat. So if you're here because you have tight hamstrings or tight hip flexors, bend your knees or sit up on a block or a box or even a chair if you need to. The most important thing for these next 2 exercises is that your back is lifted up flat and straight so you have that neutral spine that we talked about. So you're gonna be here, arms out to the side, spine twist, inhale, rotate, exhale, center, inhale, rotate, exhale, center. I want you to feel like I am standing behind you with my hands on your head, pulling you up towards the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. You're probably only rotating so that you're about in line with your toes, maybe farther, because it's your chest that's actually rotating. So think about having a spotlight out of your chest and you're just shining it slightly left to right. I don't want this. I don't want just the arms. I want the chest and the spine actually rotating. So this is part of that segmental mobilization we talked about, the spine moving. This is awesome detox. If you are tight in the hips, you're just hating life right now because this is so hard to sit like this. Okay, come to center. Bring your arms in front of you. Exhale, forward, round your spine. Inhale, reach your arms up, extend, round, restack. Again, a little more spine work. We're just doing 2 more of those, okay? Exhale, round. Inhale, heart pulls forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, restack. Last one. Lift, round, restack. Arms come down. Very nice. You're going to lay down on your left side. So a little more with that disassociation. A couple options. You can be all the way flat with your arm underneath your head, or you can be right here. So these are the kind of 2 beginner levels. If you cannot be like this because of any arm injury, just be here and get a pillow, all right? So that's fine. So you're gonna bring your bottom foot forward so it's in line with the top of your mat. The top leg is straight out here. So the main thing, find your neutral spine. Hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. Belly button pulls in. So you can now see why we started class working on that so you could understand it in some of these other positions. Belly button pulls in, flex your foot. So you're already working and now we can finally start the exercise that you're working. Inhale, bring the leg forward. Exhale, point and bring it back. You are only moving the leg as much as you can that nothing else moves. So what it would look like is this. you round, you sit back, and then you arch. So if you're kind of fishtailing like that, then either just control it more, because maybe you're just kind of used to doing that, either more control or a smaller movement. Because again, this is more effective. This is gonna work your buns. So if you want stronger legs, stronger hips, this is gonna do it. That example I showed you isn't actually. So that's why we wanna do it right, is because then you get the most out of it. So inhale, forward, flex, exhale, point back. Your options to modify: bend the bottom knee. This is what I do for my patients. It's just a little easier to start, so bend the bottom knee. Or you can just do it with the top leg bent too, which you might need to. And if none of these work for you for any reason, then you go back to the one on your back that we did at the very beginning of class. So we have lots of options. And again, if you're coming back to this after having done Pilates for a while, or you're an athlete and you just want to learn kind of the basics, then just take these and skip ahead to some of our other videos after this one, and you'll understand the principles a little more. But I don't talk as much, we go faster, we do more reps, and we flow from one exercise to another faster. And I don't think any of that's right or wrong. I just think it's what you want out of the exercise. You might want to go really slow and deliberate. You might want to go faster to get a little more cardio. But no matter what you do, I just want you to do it with purpose, with intention. I just want the movement to be correct so that you get more out of it. All right, one more. Hopefully you're feeling hip abductors here. Very good. So we'll just start with that. Bring it down and just push yourself up, and we'll go to the other side. This is called side lying leg series, and there's quite a few exercises we do in this series. I just want you to get used to the position here. So whatever you did on the other side, go ahead and do it here. Flex the foot, check. Hips are stacked, belly button pulls in, shoulders are stacked, and let's inhale, flex the foot forward, exhale, point back. And you might not be the same side to side. Keep that in mind on any exercise that we do. Use the breath. Feel like I'm pulling on your foot now, just like I was pulling on your head earlier, imagining I was pulling on your head. I'm pulling on your ankle and your foot now. One of the other main principles of Pilates is length, or lengthening. That's why people say they get that long, lean look. It's just because we're working the muscles in their full range of motion. And so you'll strengthen and tone, but you get that in the full range, so they don't just bulk up kind of in the middle range. It's even throughout the muscle belly and the muscle length. So I want you to actually think of that length. Any exercise we do, think of that. Just think, how could I be an inch taller or an inch longer? And that usually will help you get the right posture too. So let's do a few more. Check your bottom foot, that it's not gripping, or hand. I just saw I was gripping for dear life here with my hand, so try to relax. And let's do one more. And press back. Very nice. You can rest that leg. And again, just push yourself up to a seated position. And I want to do a stretch called Mermaid Stretch. Typically, it's done in a Z-sit position, which is this. You have one foot back, one foot inside. This can be tough if you have injuries, if you've had knee surgeries, if you've had hip surgeries, if you have piriformis syndrome, if you have scoliosis. That's all going to be kind of hard in this position. That doesn't mean I don't want you to try it. Please do and see how it feels. If you have pain, don't do it. Or if you are here, all right? So just a little bit lifted is fine. That's normal. But if you're here, this is real typical for a scoliosis sometimes, or a tight hip, then this is too much. So any of you folks that fit into that category, I want you to find a couple phone books. I want you to find a small box, something that you can sit on until you can have a straight spine. So that, and then over time, you actually might come down. But I'm sorry, I don't have a box I can sit on and show you. But you would just do the same thing. Bring a box over, sit on it, and then you'd be in the same position. And if that still doesn't work for you, then just sit in a chair or sit cross-legged. That's all okay. All right, so Z-sit though for the rest of us. Both sit bones down, arms out to the side. So I have my left foot back, my right foot in, and I'm gonna take it over to the right. So your hand comes down and the other hand reaches over. Shoulders are down. And I want you in between two pretend pieces of glass. So you're not rounding forward or back. It's a pure side bend. And then lift back up, one vertebrae at a time, and over to the other side. So you'll see, if you think back spine movement, for spine movement during this class, we've had some flexion, which is rounding forward. We've had a little extension. We had some rotation, right? And that spotlight spine twist that we did. And now we have side bend. That's a big thing you'll get in Pilates classes, is we're gonna work the spine in many different ways. Again, to keep it moving, keep it healthy. Over, and then back up. And then all we're gonna do is switch legs. So if you have cross-legged, then you're just gonna switch the leg that's in front. If you're in a chair and both feet are down, no worries, you just get to do it again. So arms out to the side, and let's take it over to the left. Again, check your shoulders, check your belly, even here. Is belly button pulled in? Let your core do some of the work. Just don't let it get lazy, because it'll want to. I promise that core is gonna wanna get lazy. Over and up, and this should feel good. We're stretching your quadratus lumborum, which is down kind of lower, low back, so right in here. Piriformis, and your hip might get a lot of stretching. Your lats and your ribs are opening up here, and over. And back up, and then arms can come down. Let's bring both legs straight out in front of you. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, just a forward fold. Really easy, gentle forward fold. Wherever you are, if you're seated in a chair, if you're standing, wherever you want. And then let's restack your spine. And congratulations, you made it through. I'm so happy. Thank you, thank you. So again, PilatesHappier.com will give you more tips. You can sign up there for some emails that'll talk more about our blog and what we do and some extra fitness tips. And then stay tuned for beginner level 2. Thank you so much and have an awesome day.